YouTube SEO isn't some magical algorithm hack like some people would like you to believe. It's not about gaming the system with secret tricks, spending hours just obsessing over metrics that don't actually matter. Trust me, I wish that I could sit here and tell you that there's some hidden backdoor into the algorithm that only I've discovered, but that's just not how the platform works. The reality is that YouTube SEO in 2025 is much simpler than most people make it out to be. And after working with dozens of business owners and seeing firsthand what actually works on the platform, I found that most people just completely overthink YouTube SEO and ignore what actually matters. So in this video, I'm going to take away all the mystery and show you exactly how YouTube SEO keyword ranking actually works so that by the end, you have everything that you need to start ranking videos and having them generate leads on autopilot. So pay attention, take notes if you need to, and let's get into it. So there's two types of clients when it comes to YouTube SEO in my experience. The first client has no idea that YouTube even has SEO in the first place. The other type of client usually knows it exists, but they probably don't understand it in the right way. And I usually end up having to re-explain how important it actually is or isn't in the process. Because you get some people who think that it's like SEO for their main website where, they'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars every month and there's SEO agencies. There's not really YouTube SEO agencies. I like to consider it like micro on-platform SEO. You really don't have to make that big of a deal out of it. Now, it's important to get the fundamentals correct to get the most out of it, but you could do everything wrong when it comes to SEO. And if your content is good, it's not going to stop you from succeeding. It's not like traditional SEO with Google where you're just never going to show up. No one's ever going to find you. The algorithm is smart, so it understands if people like the content. Now, you want to get the content seen by as many people as possible. And that's where things like the packaging are really important. And SEO is a part of that. So explaining how SEO works, what does it actually look like, what's relevant and what's not. The first thing we have to look at would be a couple facts about how YouTube SEO works, what it is and what it isn't first. So before I show you what YouTube SEO actually looks like, let's talk about why it actually matters in the first place. There's really four main pillars to the case that YouTube SEO is important, and I'll explain what those are. So the first is that there's a considerable amount of traffic on YouTube. It's the second most visited site in the world behind Google, and guess who YouTube's parent company is? Google, right? So the way that people use YouTube is very similar to Google. You've definitely done this yourself. You've searched, how do I fix my broken iPhone screen? That's what we would call a long tail keyword. So that's a whole entire phrase. So there's a lot of ways that people use YouTube, but the most common is people searching for solutions, tutorials, education. That's going to be your bread and butter as a business owner. And so if you make a well-optimized video about a evergreen topic in your niche, you can generate views and leads for years because of the nature of the platform. Your views should continuously trend upwards as long as the hype around that topic doesn't die down. Now, obviously the content has to be good. It can't be the first one or two videos you post. There's a million people that might make a tutorial on something, but if the video's good, your content is good, and you have a history of success on YouTube, meaning that you've just been consistent enough to start stacking wins, you will continually grow your channel and those assets will keep getting views over time. And so finally, unlike other social media platforms, your content lifespan is not entirely algorithm dependent. Content with good SEO can continue to rank and get attention for years on end. A short form video on Instagram is not going to do that. A TikTok video is not going to do that. A tweet is definitely not going to do that. A LinkedIn post, maybe you get 48 hours, maybe you get 3, 4, 5 days out of it max. It's just not going to keep ranking for years. That's not how these other platforms work. So every video on YouTube is a potential entry point into the sales funnel as long as you structure your channel the right way. So I mentioned long tail keywords, and that's going to be our core strategy for when we're deciding what we want to rank for. So a long tail keyword is a longer, more specific phrase that users are more likely to use when they're closer to a purchase or using voice search. So they might have a lower search volume individually, but collectively they make up a significant portion of all searches. So key characteristics, what is a long tail keyword? keyword, what does it look like? So it's generally longer, typically 3 to 5 words or more. And the biggest thing about it is that they're extremely precise and they target a narrower audience compared to broad, short keywords. So if you look at this example here, if you were to look up the word shirts, you might have 19,000 searches per month on the platform for that one word there. But it could mean a lot of different things versus if you search silk shirts for women, that keyword search volume might only be 800 per month. So that's way more specific. And by being more specific, you're using a couple more words to do that. So that's the gist of long tail keywords. And so the intent is much higher. They often reflect a higher conversion intent, meaning users are closer to making a purchase or taking action. And again, the search volume is usually going to be lower compared to the short tail keywords, but that's fine. You don't want to be broad. You want to be very specific. And because of that, you have way less competition for these long tail keywords. So it's easier to rank for them in the search engine, which increases the chances of this strategy actually working for you. So you've got targeted traffic, higher conversion rates, it's easier to rank for, and it's more common to be used in voice search, which is only more and more popular. SEO as a whole is pivoting towards AI, voice, things like that, because those things weren't as common 10 or 15 years ago when SEO agencies were really first coming out. So obviously the goal here is to own the real estate at the top of the YouTube search results for these long tail keywords in your niche. So how do you find these keywords, and then how do we plan the content around that? So the first thing that you want to do is identify frequently asked questions that you get directly from the mouths of your customers and your existing clients. And then naturally next, you want to take an inventory of the main pain points that your offer helps them solve, and then try to come up with some questions that might be asked around there. And then finally, you have commonly searched topics in your niche. Obviously, you want to go where the traffic already is. And so your best source for all of this is going to be your sales calls. You should be recording them. You can get the transcript in a .txt or a docx file, and you can have AI take a look at that and analyze what are the most frequently asked questions that I get. If you take a data pool of about 10 to 20 different sales call recordings, you're going to see the same questions come up over and over again. You might even know these off the top of your head, so you don't even need the AI to do that, but it doesn't hurt to look at the data and see if there's anything that you're missing. So if you're on Zoom, record them, and you could use an AI note taker. I use Read AI, just whatever you can to actually get that data. And then the next place you can look is in your client DMs and communications. So if you're in Slack, if you text them, if you record those calls, which you definitely should, where you meet up with your client, you go over statistics, anything like that, because the most valuable and relevant data is coming directly from the mouths of people who either paid you or are considering paying you, because you want to target other people like them. So then we could fall back on our tools after we go through that firsthand data, and then we can look at things like VidIQ, TubeBuddy, and then look for outlier videos on your channel, other people's channels, and just see what's trending on YouTube in general. And another good way to use these tools is when you get the data from your first two sources we just talked about, you can use the SEO tools to validate the demand, make sure that there actually is traffic for what you're hearing from your customers. So you don't want to live and die by these tools like VidIQ. The data that you get from your customers is more important, but it's good to cross-reference and check if there's anything you're missing or something you didn't think about. So when you use VidIQ, which is the one I use the most, you want to look for keywords with competition scores under 20 and a search score above 60. So you'll see that this little meter here will be marked in the green when that's the case. So you could throw in the entire video title to see how well it ranks, build keyword clusters by exploring related terms, and then just continually search and iterate from there until you have enough keywords. And so once you get these keywords, you're probably asking, well, where do I actually put them? Do I just spam them in the description of the YouTube video? No, you don't want to do that. The first and most important place you can put it is in the title, because that's one of the three major components of the main packaging for your YouTube videos. And yeah, you do put it in the description too, but you don't want to do what's called keyword stuffing, where you just spam all of the keywords in a row. You don't even make full sentences. You just put as many of them as you can in this huge long block of text. That doesn't work. That's really not going to help you. YouTube only pays attention to the first 100 or so characters in the description. So what I always do is the first sentence in the description is just the video title again. And then I might put one or two short paragraphs explaining what the video is about, just trying to use a couple of those keywords in a way that actually makes sense. The third place to put them is in the video tags. That's just a feature for every time you upload a video. You're also going to have channel-wide tags as well. You could throw them in the About section on your YouTube channel homepage. And the last place that you could possibly put it is in the file name of the actual video file that you upload itself. I've heard that some people have done that and experimented with it. I haven't tested that myself firsthand, so take that one with a grain of salt. If it does work, it's got to be very, very, very minor. That's probably the last place I would look. And most of the time, I don't even do it for my own videos. It's just a dotting the I's, crossing the T's type of measure. It's just a dotting the I's, crossing the T's type of measure if you're really serious about getting this right. Okay, so now that you have all this information, how do we actually use it to win? So here's the main types of SEO-driven content. So the best way I can do that is to show you examples of different types of videos that I would make actually using these strategies. So first is how-tos and tutorials. Those are the action-based videos. So this is one that I did. Then you have an educational video explaining how to do something. They're really two wings of the same bird, just different goals. One of them is more of a tutorial. The other is slightly more educational. Another type of educational video is just explaining an industry trend. That always works really well. AI in general is a really hot one, so I try to get that for most clients. You could probably come up with a way to make a video about AI in your niche, so that's a little tip for you. Making a free course video, which I call a magnum opus, where you just put all of what you know into a 45-minute all the way up to a 2 or 3 hour long video if you really want to. This one I have here is about 90 minutes. That's a combination of an action-based video and a broad educational one, but people love those. Those do really well on YouTube. Then of course you have the client case studies, interviews, showing your social proof. Those convert really, really well, and they always do well if the case study is good. You can answer niche-specific questions, again, another type of educational video, and then do a keyword-based deep dive. So that's a little bit more of a specific video on a certain thing. And again, a lot of this might seem repetitive, but the long tail keyword I wanted to rank for was content marketing for service-based businesses. So I made this video addressing this specific objection and frequently asked question that I got around this keyword. So each video is ideally targeting one long tail keyword while providing immense value on that specific topic. The key is to go where the traffic is. You can't just make people want to search your videos. You have to give them what they already want. One of the easiest way to do that is to just improve on existing videos from competitors or just people in adjacent niches that perform well. We call those outliers. So here's how you iterate on and outperform existing videos without being weird and just completely stealing someone else's content with zero integrity involved in the process. The first thing that you want to do is have succinctness, so you can deliver insights faster than other people. You could condense a video that performed really well that maybe was 20 minutes into 5 minutes. And then you can title it, for example, 10 years of marketing experience explained in 5 minutes. Number two is having more clarity than the person who made the video. You can just be more clear in your explanation with good analogies, stories, etc. Number three is the entertainment factor. Obviously, your personality is going to shine through and just make something different. Two people could make the exact same video with the exact same script, and it would still feel a little bit different if they put enough of their personality into it. And that's our fourth point, personality. Just be more likable than the people in your niche making these videos or in the adjacent niche. That's going to help you a ton on YouTube because it's not just about the script. You're not ChatGPT. The information is important, but it's also you. It's called a personal brand. So your delivery and energy are extremely important on YouTube. Number five is obviously social proof. If you have better results than someone else, the same video on the same topic is going to mean a lot more if it's coming from you and you rep that enough in the beginning of the video, the title, etc. And then number six, this is tried and true. A lot of people seem to overlook this one, but the actual raw value. If you're giving more value, if your videos are just better than your competitors, obviously they're going to perform better in the short term and in the long run. For some reason, I don't know why, some people seem to forget that part. So all that to say, the SEO is extremely important, but it's not the end all be all on YouTube, because a bad video with good SEO, everything done right, is still not going to perform. The video itself has to actually be good. And not only that, you have to be getting enough clicks in the first place. So SEO will help with that, but what helps even more is the packaging of the YouTube video. So I want to go over that with you because that's just as important, if not more important, than all these SEO tips that I can give you. And I consider it a part of the entire process. So SEO is going to get you some visibility, but then the packaging is actually going to seal the deal with the click. So you have to focus on the packaging. That's your thumbnail, title, and then the first 30 seconds of the video, or the hook that actually validates that click and keeps them watching the rest of the video. You want to aim for about 5 to 8% of a a click-through rate on the videos. That means 5 to 8% of the people that see the video anywhere actually click on it. And so how you do that is reinforcing the video idea with clear visual concepts in the thumbnail, having a good design. You don't want it to look like garbage. So the font has to be legible even at small sizes. If someone sees it on the side in mobile, they should still be able to get the gist of what the video is about. Obviously, don't do any of the soy face shit in your thumbnails. I think that's terrible unless you're a gaming channel or you're making videos for kids. And again, making sure that it's readable. I wouldn't use more than 4 words of text 90% of the time when it comes to a YouTube thumbnail. And then of course, it has to relate to the title. So you want to create some intrigue and curiosity. You don't just want to repeat in the thumbnail what the title already says, but the title is a good place for those long tail keywords with some hooks or modifiers. So you can say, for example, if I scroll back here, billboard ads are content marketing for service-based businesses. I could say content marketing for service-based businesses, step-by-step guide in 2025. That's just one example of how you would do that. And so again, that thumbnail title intro combo is extremely important. And this video isn't about hooks, but just when it comes to writing them, you have to use a strong opening line and create tension called an open loop. You don't want to give the full payoff right away. You just want to create some intrigue and curiosity. You can use numbers and cost narratives, for example, saying, after spending $50K in 180 days testing every single cold email tool, here's exactly what I figured out. In this video, we're going to get into this. I went through XYZ process. You get the gist, right? So you're confirming the value, creating the anticipation. And then for the main body section of that video, you're going to deliver the value, tell the story, share your insights, and then continue to sell the viewer on watching more. It's not rocket science. You really don't have to be a Hollywood script writer, but you just can't be boring when it comes to this. And so I always tell people this, no matter what the video is about, no matter what SEO keyword you used, this is what really matters, because you could rank for a topic, and if your video sucks, it's just not going to do well, and all the SEO in the world is not going to help. And same with the packaging. You could do everything right so that you rank for a video, but if the thumbnail sucks, nobody's going to click on it. If the first 30 seconds sucks, nobody's going to click on it. And if the video doesn't perform well, it's not going to perform just because of the SEO. So I always lean on this format for videos just to make it extremely easy and simple to follow, no matter what type of video you're making. It's called the what, why, how structure. So the first thing you do with what is introduce the concept or opinion that you're going to talk about in the video, then answer why it's relevant to the viewer and the overall topic that you're speaking about, and then get into the how and explain the detail. You can take this format for the whole entire video, for sub points that you make in the video. It's just a really powerful storytelling tool that you can lean on in YouTube, no matter what you're doing, and it'll help you succeed. It's just a really powerful tool that's going to help you on YouTube no matter what you're doing. And again, all the SEO in the world is not going to matter if you don't get this stuff right. So that's why it's relevant. That's why we went over it. So that's exactly how YouTube SEO and keyword ranking actually works in 2025. No BS, no magic tricks, just a proven system for generating content that ranks and actually generates leads. So you could definitely take everything that I've showed you in this video and start implementing yourself, and it'll work, but you'll probably end up spending hours just figuring out, okay, what keywords am I going to use in the first place? What are my competitors doing? Now I have to make thumbnails and I have to write scripts, and then just trying to figure out if you're going to get it right, and you go back and forth and you second guess yourself and you waste a bunch of time. Or you could just let us handle the entire process for you. So if you're a business owner or a consultant with a product market fit, you're making at least above 20K a month, and you want to build a competitive moat with YouTube content that brings in 10 to 30 high quality inbound leads every single month without lifting a finger, then click the first link in the description. We'll build a YouTube sales funnel in your business completely done for you, just like we did for our client Cade, which helped him get to 20K a month in just 90 days with a brand new coaching offer. And he got his first 3,600 for this offer in just 21 days with only YouTube. So it's up to you. You could spend months trying to figure this out on your own, or you could let the experts handle it so you can focus on what you do best, which is serving your clients and growing your business. So click the link now. Let's talk about how we can help you dominate YouTube in your niche. And if you want a copy of this YouTube SEO guide, click the second link in the description, and you could go ahead and put your email in and download that. We'll send it to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.